How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? My name is TheStarkz, and welcome to a brand new The Last of Us video. I know it's been a while, but today is a special day because I'm going to be not only watching The Last of Us HBO teaser trailer that that HBO released on the 26th of September to honor The Last of Us Day, otherwise known as Outbreak Day. But I also want to kind of analyze some of the clips and scenes that we see in this video and talk about my opinions and share my thoughts, because I've kind of had that really under wraps lately. I just haven't been too vocal regarding this HBO series whatsoever, but I kind of want to change that. I want to talk a little bit more about this show because this is a video game that I extremely love. So without further delay, let's get to it. So I'm going to be watching this on the HBO, and I'm going to have some of the audio on. I'm going to take off the audio a bit, but initially when the trailer starts, I'm like, wow, okay, we got this movement of Joel, or what appears to be Joel, I'm pretty sure it's Joel, played by Pedro Pascal, in what I believe is supposed to be the beginning portion of what would be in the video game, where you have Joel 20 odd years after the events of the start of this outbreak, this cordyceps outbreak, in this kind of town has some civilization and people are here. Now, this shot really did not wow me the way I wanted it to. Now that I'm seeing it on my monitor here on my gaming PC, I see a lot bit more details. I guess on my phone, I didn't get that attention to detail, but I see a lot of nice details. But it just felt like, to me, and I've said this in the past, maybe I haven't been too vocal about it because I didn't want to be too negative about the show, because I am really excited for it. But it looks like a very high budget fan made show. And I guess for me, something that I need to start separating is the fact that this is not a movie. So I think my expectations were a little too high. I was like, okay, the cinematography and lighting are going to be like perfect, but in this trailer, they're not. At least not to my expectations. Nonetheless, though, I am still excited and I'm happy, that they're making this and that they filmed it in, my beautiful country, Canada. And so, yeah. Anyway, we get the shot of like a curfew hours. Obviously, this is under, this is the portion where Joel is kind of occupied with his love interest Tess, and you have the 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. curfew hours, to this really authoritative kind of society that's been brought down to these people in the world of The Last of Us. And then you see workers painting over Firefly symbols, because Firefly is this resistance group that are kind of against the federal workers. Now, that shot of these guys painting, like I said, really kind of look fan made, just really high budget, especially just the angles, maybe their look. Again, because it's hard for me to separate this game because this is a TV show. TV shows objectively look different from movies, because movies attempt to achieve a more cinematic approach, whereas TV shows are a little bit more of like day-to-day life of these characters that you're watching, and that is supposed to be what The Last of Us is. I mean, look at the video game. You are playing the days of Ellie and Joel and their journey throughout this post-apocalyptic America, and so that's, I believe, why they went with the show. I mean, not only is there time constraints and making sure that the story, by time constraints, I mean, there's so much story that it's hard to just put that in one movie. And so by making a show, you can have multiple episodes, and that is the objective here. And I think they accomplished that very well. But one thing that my friend and I actually spoke about is, because we had a little different, vastly different opinions regarding the trailer, is that the trailer kind of looked documentary. And it's true. And I think that's why I didn't like it, is because like a documentary is supposed to be nonfiction, whereas obviously The Last of Us is a fictional story. But nonetheless, you got some workers here painting over Firefly resistant symbols in this Fedra occupied, which Fedra is like the government, Fedra occupied space. And then obviously the music you have in the background, instantly recognizable from the video game. At least for me, and that's really the power of video games and audio and music in video games. But so we'll continue on here. You see a shot of Joel contemplating his life decisions, and then we get a nice shot of when you're lost in the darkness with Ellie kind of looking at it, or I believe that's supposed to be Ellie, played by Bella Ramsey, I believe is her name. Um, even the look at the bottom here, I guess my expectations are really high. Like, it looks good, but at the same time, it just looks like a high budget fan made concept. But nonetheless, when you're lost in the darkness, look for the light. This is a Firefly quote from the video games. You have chains and what appears to be, somebody tied up, essentially. Now, there's a moment like that in the game with Ellie, as we all know, at least viewers who might be watching who've actually played the video game. But I don't think this is Ellie here. I mean, those shoes kind of look. Initially, I thought it was Joel, but I was like, well, does Joel ever get locked up and tortured in the first game? I mean, that happens in the second game, but I mean, who knows? This is a show, so the narratives are going to be very different here, obviously. But nonetheless, we'll continue on here. I got some Ellie shots. You get another welcome. This is supposed to be, I guess, a quarantine zone, which again, I guess it's the lighting here mixed with the cinematography and I guess the color grading that kind of makes it look like I said, a fan-made concept. But essentially, there's a lot of people who are making this who are fans of the game, so I guess it is kind of fan-made. But I don't say that to diminish or devalue the cast and crew who worked a lot of hours and poured their blood, sweat, and tears into this. But nonetheless, that's a cool shot. You get a nice shot of this Fedra soldier, which didn't look the best, but him scanning, and then another shot of what appears to be Joel, Ellie, as well as Tess, Joel's love interest. Now, that actually doesn't, the more I look at it, it doesn't really look like Pedro Pascal. It looks like it could be like a stunt double or something, but I believe that is them three hiding from in the sewers, which again is from the first game. Obviously, there's a lot of accuracy here from the trailer in comparison to the games. Obviously, you get a shot of the downtown, which looks like this is the perfect shot that looks extremely like the video game. I love it. I don't know how they accomplished that. Mostly CGI, but I mean, that looks great. You get a nice shot of somebody with longer hair, a shotgun on the side, watching cameras. And I was like, obviously we don't know who this is because I don't think there's cameras like this or like TV screens like this in the first game. And then you see this person kind of analyzing footage on these screens. And then the next shot you get of people who've died and Joel and Ellie. And then you see just some grass in the distance. I think this is where they see the plane crash, which was a teaser trailer, teaser photo that was released a couple months back, actually. Okay, now you have some clickers and dead, and you see Tess, Ellie, and Joel kind of hiding, and you get a small glimpse, and then you see Joel ensuring that everyone knows to be quiet here. Again, there's something about the specific cinematic, I guess the cinematography here mixed with the lighting, and I guess perhaps the budget, whether it's, I don't know what the budget is, but it just looks a little less professional. Again, I think I'm being a little too critical here. Perhaps I'm still very excited and I'm going to watch this. But there was a lot it's some high expectations I had. But anyways, we'll continue on here. Craig Mason, you get a beautiful bird's eye view shot of snow and water. I mean, this looks amazing. And you don't know who's walking there, probably Joel and Ellie. And then following that, you see Joel here walking around in an area, maybe in there a supermarket or some kind of area. I mean, we don't know exactly, and a beautiful shot of Bella Ramsey crying, or I should say Ellie crying. Maybe somebody died, or maybe someone got hurt. Maybe she kind of looks tied up here as well, but we're unsure. Nonetheless, it looks cool. I believe this is Marlene. Beautiful. I think that's Marlene, who is the leader of the Fireflies in the first game, and then somebody next to her, perhaps her daughter. You know, they're going to change things up for the show, obviously, so it could be her daughter. You get I think this is a Ferris wheel, with Ellie and her love interest, Riley, which was also in the first game, obviously. Neil Druckmann gets the recognition he deserves as and the acclaimed video game creator Neil Druckmann. with the nice title card. You get a beautiful, creepy shot of Joel holding his daughter, or I believe his daughter Sarah, in the ruins of hometown, looking at dead being consumed. And then you see this guy rise up. That shot, this is what I want. Like, brutal creepiness. Like, I want to see the dead look scary as fuck. Okay, pardon my language, but I mean, it's scary as fuck. I mean, that shot was just beautiful, perfect horror. Okay, The Last of Us is an action adventure horror video game. It's an action adventure horror game, and that shot was just perfect. You see this guy rise up, noticing Joel in the distance, and is probably gonna run at him and attack him, and I think that's just absolutely beautiful. And then you see the background with what appears to be a church and some trucks and vehicles scattered in the distance and some people laying on the floor dead. And a beautiful shot of Joel with a hunting rifle. And shortly after that, you see a bunch of what I believe are Fedra soldiers fighting off perhaps the Fireflies resistance in the exact same, or what appears to be the exact same settlement that Joel was in the initial moments of the trailer, which again is, I believe, is supposed to be tied into the first game where these events do happen. And you get some audio in the background saying, well, it's kind of hard to tell because there's music playing as well, but shortly after that, you see Joel and Sarah, and then I believe Tommy, which is played by Gabriel Luna, who's a great actor. And then shortly after that, you see Bill, who's played by, I forget the guy's name, but now I believe this is Bill. In the shots earlier, you see with the guy watching the cameras, I believe that's Bill. And then Joel holding his hands there, which is really cool. You get a nice shot of people drinking and holding hands in some kind of room, and then shortly after that, Joel beating the crap out of a soldier, it looks like, and Ellie running away from danger. Perhaps David, who, as we know, is this cannibal, violent, weird guy. And then you get this nice shot of this unknown character, who looks very serious and walking towards somebody. We don't know who, obviously, because a lot of these are cut very quick shots in order to just kind of get the idea out there. But so pardon the interruption. However, I wanted to go back on what I was saying earlier in regards to the voiceover as well as that mystery character we saw. So the voiceover is saying that this is our chance, our best shot. You keep her alive and you set everything right. And in regards to the mystery character that we saw, it's not Abby, so don't worry. But it's, in fact, Melanie Linsky, who will portray Kathleen, some kind of ruthless leader of a revolutionary movement in Kansas City, EW has learned. Now, I don't know who EW is, but regardless, I actually initially thought these were the Fireflies, but I guess these are supposed to be hunters. And what's funny about Kansas City is I believe the background here was actually filmed in downtown Calgary. Which is pretty cool because, you know, I'm from Canada. So yeah, I just had to do some digging on Twitter regarding this character, but nonetheless, she looks really cool, and I'm really excited to see this character. But let's continue on here with this analysis or reaction kind of video to The Last of Us HBO trailer. So we see a nice shot of this truck with "run" at the or kind of engraved, or I guess painted on what appears to be the shovel portion of this truck, which, as we know, is actually a part of the video game. Obviously, there's a lot of accuracy here with that. And then a beautiful shot of Joel and Tommy in this vehicle, and you see, I believe, Sarah in the background in what's supposed to be the hometown. I believe downtown Texas or some kind of Texas area town, and you see this plane approaching and these people running in chaos and panic, and this freaking plane explodes, and as you see it explode, you see people fall to the ground from the impact, and then on the side you see the hotel, and this is just a beautiful shot. This is what I want, just beautiful shot right here, especially because it's really accurate to the video game, and I love that. So let's continue on here. You see another shot which looks to be in the same area, but I don't think it is. I think this is in the future. with Joel running, and then this guy who's caught on fire, and then shortly after that, because these are quick shots, you see, I guess, what's supposed to be Wyoming, people on a horse running from something. I think it's probably Joel and Ellie and maybe Tommy, and then shortly after that, I believe what I'm seeing here is supposed to be Ellie as well as Sam and his brother running away from that same run truck that we see, and then Ellie running away in panic and shooting the truck as best she can. And shortly after that, you see this massive explosion happen. And what's interesting about this shot is I believe this is supposed to be Tess surrounded by Fedra, because and I'll get to why I think that is in just a second. But here's Joel and Sarah running away in a bar, and shortly after that you see Tess. I believe this is supposed to be Tess and a bunch of people running, and then you see what I believe is supposed to be Tess again, in this beautiful close-up shot of her dropping a lighter. I guess she causes that initial explosion that we see in the previous shots, and then a car crash with Joel and I suppose Ellie. Actually, that might not be Ellie now that I think about it. But regardless, Joel being in a vehicle with somebody getting hit by something just looks really cool. And then obviously you see panicked Ellie and Joel comforting her, perhaps after the events of David, who tries to to Ellie. And then a beautiful, absolutely beautiful shot of the clickers, which are really the major conflict in this entire story. I mean, obviously the humans are bad, but the clickers and the dead are really what causes this world to collapse the way it does and create these clans and weird seraphites and all these different things happening. Now, I was actually very scared that the clickers and monsters would look horrible in this, but I think they did a really good job of and detail. But well, I mean, I know that obviously the show's not out yet, so this could change. It could look worse or better, but nonetheless, the initial shot of this clicker looks absolutely terrifying. And I love how you see the clothing really deteriorating, and just the face looks really just gross, and their teeth and mouth area. Like, I wonder if this is a combination of CGI and practical effects. I hope it's mainly practical, but and whatever they couldn't get done, they obviously use CGI and other methods. But nonetheless, it's just a beautiful shot of the clickers, so accurate to The Last of Us Part 2's look, and even the first games. I freaking love this shot of the clickers. And then that kind of concludes the trailer. You have a shot of Joel and Ellie looking at each other, perhaps at a sunset, or maybe they're seeing the Capitol on this high-rise apartment. I really don't know, obviously, but and then you get a voiceover saying "Save who you can," who I believe is supposed to be Tess. And then after that, you get a shot of Ellie and Joel, I believe, on a horse, just walking in the distance. I mean, and then obviously the title, HBO original The Last of Us for 2023. I'm freaking excited for this. I know I've been kind of critical regarding the look and the aesthetic, and that's because, you know, I guess I expected something like an Interstellar and A Quiet Place, obviously not matched together, but in terms of cinematic and the cinematography and lighting. But I'm still satisfied with this trailer. I think they did a phenomenal job showing off not too much, but just enough, right? And I think that's a huge problem in Naughty Dog, specifically. I know Naughty Dog's not necessarily tied into this. I know they're doing their own thing, but obviously you have Neil Druckmann working on this, which is really exciting. So I'm really, really hopeful that this series will be great. We'll see what happens in 2023 when they release it. I know I'll be paying for HBO Max once this Last of Us show releases, but I wonder if you guys are going to. So let me know in the comment section below if you're going to be supporting HBO Max and subscribing to them for the first time, or if you're already subscribed to them, if you're going to check out the Last of Us HBO series. I mean, why not? I mean, let's see how accurate it is to the video games, and hopefully it could be hopefully they can make more seasons. I think that's their plan, actually. Now that I think about it, I think they have plans to make multiple seasons. I think they've already wrapped up season 1, and they're probably going to make a season 2. Whether it's been approved or not, I have no idea. I don't know if it depends on ratings. I have no idea. I'm not a production worker, but nonetheless, I'm extremely excited for the Last of Us HBO TV series. Let me know in the comment section below what you think about this, as well as the trailer and my thoughts. Do you disagree with me? Do you think it looks beautiful? Do you think it looks bad? Let me know. And with that being said, I've been TheStarkz. Peace.